It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, and with me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght and Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks, Gary.
Good. Should we be talking softer? Are you still hungover? Did you get over the party?
I'm okay. I'm doing good now.
Saskatchewan has been put back into one piece after the
I am back to earth now.
And down in Connecticut, I've got Muffler Mike. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. Well, we had a busy week. We have all kinds of things. Cuts are tomorrow, final cuts for NLL teams, but we're going to go through what major changes have happened already to these teams. It's also still Native American History Month, and we'll show you another little clip of stuff that we've been putting up, because remember, we're putting up clips every single day to show the cultural differences and how we can all become as one and more understanding towards one another, using lacrosse as a tool to bridge the gap of Native and non-Native. As well as hopefully we'll see Pat and Caden coming on with their season starts with us. And, Rose, all kinds of surprises going on. And we've had preseason games as well to talk about. But before we get rolling, just a reminder to everybody that all the episodes are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, also Instagram Live. As well, you can catch us on Spotify. Remember to smash the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Please enjoy all of the affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network, like Fly Like an Eagle, though they're not flying today. Sorry, guys. I'm sure we'll see Dave soon. Also, Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, as well as CFL shows for the off-season, as well as some NHL shows, as well as soccer and football things. If you missed a show, no worries. You can catch all the shows on YouTube, whether it be at Streampunk Sports, whether it be at Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat, or, of course, All Across all the time. If you come to All Across all the time, please subscribe, please share, please tell everybody about us, because when you come to that network, you will catch retro games, interviews, library of shows, press conferences, all kinds of things, fights, you name it, it's on there. More coming all the time. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting streampunkentertainment.com with a great articles from staff contributors. Also, a reminder that the show is brought to you by 60. 60 is Canada's newest, most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniform and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Add Lax Talk 10 for a 10% discount on your orders. How do you get to them? You can do the QR code, which is in the center of our screen. You can go on to Instagram at sweet_60. You can hit them on email at info.sweet60@gmail.com, or you can visit their website directly at www.sweet60.ca/60. Jim will be more than happy to work with you on any and all ideas you have and top quality stuff. Remember, add Lax Talk 10 for a 10% discount on an already really great price. Alrighty. Brian's with us. Brian, how are you? Good to have you with us, pal.
Right.
All right. As I alluded to, it is still Native American Heritage History Month. And I want to play another clip from what we had done during the week. And let me just get that. This is just a little clip, but it's of, since it is Football Sunday as well, it is Bill Belichick and Alfie Jacks talking with one another.
I appreciate what you do, and
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've played before junior high school, high school, at Andover prep school, in college. I played club lacrosse, so I coached out in at Detroit Country Day. So when I was in high school, we would go at the back rack raisin in Baltimore, and there would be a couple thousand sticks there, and we would literally pull everyone off the rack. They were all unique. and you go through 1,000 sticks and you find maybe 2 that you like. But that's how the process started. Then you go into the wall and you just bang it against the wall, you know, hour after hour, hour after hour, and then go to practice, and eventually somebody would step on it and it would break and you would cry. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking feeling. It's like losing your best friend. The sentimental attachment to it it's tremendous because you just spent so much time breaking it in. You know, to be good with these kind of sticks, you know, like the Joe Cowens and the Charlie Cokers and, you know, some of the great players, the Jimmy Lewises and Jim Brown and those guys, it was more skill.
And that you had to work, break it in, oil it, do what you had to do. You get the pocket, and then it was perfect for how long? Until you broke the stick, right?
Yeah, right. I remember this break-in technique.
Yeah. Now I have an Indian corn pounder that I use. Pound it right out. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people, different coaches, different players, all across the country, and they call me and they call other Native people. They want to teach their people where the game came from, the heritage, the tradition, the culture of Native American lacrosse.
You know, they have great skills. They take great pride in it. It's part of the culture, and you know, they've given us something that's really special, and certainly appreciate what the great legacy that lacrosse has. I respect so much what you do. I appreciate what you do, and
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love these videos. I really do. And they are just so interesting and so informing of everything that goes into it and all the culture and history behind everything. So please give a listen, give a look. Every day it's up first thing in the morning on All Across all the time, as well as all the other pages across Facebook. So give it a look and enjoy. There's another week left, so there's another 7 on queue ready to go, and we'll be putting them up for you. All right, we had ourselves still preseason number 3, and we had Las Vegas versus San Diego. We had Philadelphia into Toronto. We had Ottawa, Rochester, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Buffalo, Georgia, and Colorado and Vancouver. A few of those games you might have caught on NLL Plus as well, but just to go through these games, I'm gonna start with the first one on the docket there, and that was Las Vegas and San Diego. Now this was played outdoors at that beautiful San Diego practice facility. And I have a couple of small videos sent to me by Ross McLaughlin and Quinn McLaughlin. And the first one from there was a little dust up with Dustin Burkhoff trying to make his presence known to stay on the team. And I'm telling you, man, from what I know from MSL, he's a big boy. Oh, look at this little gander of a fight.
Oh, that's Burkhoff. Look at half smiling.
I love that place. I loved visiting it. It was so cool to see. But in the game, the Seals had 2 squads playing, first half and second half. Vegas used their A squad. And again, San Diego won 10-9 in overtime with Armitage getting the game winner. I do have that here for you. So
get it, Ryder. Oh. Go Deeps. Go Deeps.
That was quick on that button.
Mm-hmm. Come on, Trey. Let's go, boys. Oh.
Our ball. Let's go.
Come on. Say. Ooh. Come on.
7 back.
Let's go, Trey. No monkey business. Just go. Yeah!
just a little dribbler that got by on Ron. But that's hard to take, eh? Backdrop there, baseball in the next field over. Man, I think of all the dingy arenas I've been to. Wow, I could handle doing that.
Oh yeah.
Handle doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, played all 4 quarters for the Seals. Desert Dogs used all 3 goalies. Bouquet played in the 3rd. Con played the 4th and OT. Hammer Jackson was impressive, dominating at faceoff. He won 3 of 4 spots when Batiste wasn't in, and he racked up near 50% ratio while he was there. So that's impressive. He's come a long way.
Excellent.
Yeah.
The next game on the docket was Toronto and Philadelphia. Now, I was wondering myself when I got there what kind of team Philadelphia would show me because they're depleted, right? Toronto wound up winning 14-10, but really it wasn't until the 4th quarter when they pulled away. It was tied, I believe, 2-2 after one. I think 5-5 at the half. Toronto had a 1-goal lead heading into the 4th, and it was the 4th quarter in which Challen Rogers put a couple quick ones in, and Toronto outscored them 5-2 in the 4th, and 14-10 was your final. Nick Rose played almost the entire game. On 30 shots, he gave up 7. Troy Holochuk came in for a quarter and a bit. Gave up 3 on 13 shots. They looked pretty good. Nick Damoud, he gave up 12 on 40 shots. Deacon Knott came in for about 10 or 12 minutes, gave up 2 on 8 shots. Philadelphia's defense looks good. They took the Toronto Rock A squad and held them at bay for pretty damn close to 3+ quarters before they started getting some momentum. Challen Rogers, it's going to be fun watching him come out the front door all season. He had 3. Chris Boucher had 3. Craig had 3. Owen Hiltz had a pair himself. For Philadelphia, Brendan O'Neill had 3. Eric Fennell had a pair of goals. And I'm telling you, man, he was hyped up, boy. Even in the national anthems, he was ready to go. You know, he was ready to jump through the glass. That's just in the anthems. Now I realize they're pretty moving songs, but wow. And he took it right into game time. He had himself a really great game. But I don't know. That Philadelphia team, offensively, not so impressive. Defensively, I really was pretty impressed with what I saw.
I mean, that's good. That's good news. You know, I mean, we've kind of gone through the whole preseason with some concerns on both sides of the ball for this Wings team.
Absolutely.
So to see them turn in, you know, despite the loss, to see them turn in a solid performance.
The other enthusiastic thing is Restaretz. He had a goal and a couple of assists, but O'Neill is probably the most energetic he's been through the preseason. So if he catches fire, and Restaretz is there, I think he can step into the role that Mitch Jones had, and can really, you know, move things along using all the PLL experience that he has to better forward that team. Liam Patton also looked really good. Had a really nice goal. So, but the A squad in Toronto, Kirst had another really good game. Made his presence felt. It was great to see Hostrauser and Elijah Gash out there, since Gash just signed the other day for another 3 years, and he had a lot of energy out there as well. Josh Dawick, a little bit of a different role. I don't think we're going to see the points that we saw from him last year, but yeah, that's expected because Mark Matthews is engaged, healthy and engaged, which is good for Toronto. And again, Challen Rogers out the front door is going to bring a whole new look to an already potent offense. And Dan Craig looks reinvigorated as well. So a lot of the question marks that we had about the Rock from last year seem to be being answered. Rose is looking pretty solid in net overall. And Holichuk had a really great quarter in the fourth. He made a couple of some fantastic kick saves. So it could have easily been a close finish. But great goaltending, strong defense. A few too many penalties in my eyes. They're going to have to take a watch that because no reason to give any team an advantage, especially with some of the teams and how stacked they are. Ottawa jumped into against Rochester in Brampton. Another tight game. Tensions are flaring all over the place. Nate Grennan made his presence felt with a little fisticuff dust up over in Brampton on Saturday night. But great to see him fitting in with the boys over there. And again, Ottawa won 11-9, but really, that's a lot of. Both squads are pretty much set. My question is, where does McCulley fit in? He's on injured reserve right now, and that team is stacked. And granted, he's another big piece and can do so much transitionally, offensively, defense, whatever you want to ask of him. So I don't think that's a piece you want to let go.
No, I think they should they should definitely hold on to him, and depending on the amount of time he's out, that's how much time you have to figure out how you're gonna shift players around to retain as much as you can.
Absolutely. Moving over to Saskatchewan, they faced Calgary, and Calgary got the better of them here at 11-10 was the final. Really good game all the way through. A few notes beforehand, though, Shawn. Jake Nasso placed on injury reserve.
Yeah.
Matt Kostiuk placed on short-term holdout list for personal reasons. And Austin Shanks was out in this game. They did get a couple of goals from Tanner Cook and 4 goals from Brendan Mayhem. Now, we knew Brendan from the summer, and I knew that he had an NLL streak in him. But hey, that's saying a lot. Churchy also had a hat trick for Saskatchewan. Noah Manning had the game winner for Calgary. We're saying that a lot in the preseason, aren't we, Mike?
Yeah.
Noah Manning.
Yeah.
Noah Manning. In all 3 games.
Certainly an early front runner for impact rookie.
Oh yeah.
It's a great thing to see, but talk about jumping in. It's kind of like Hiltz in Toronto, right? I think he had 10 goals, in the 3 preseason games. So yeah. And I had a small conversation with with Owen Hiltz after the game. Soft spoken, not a big guy, but he's a tank out there. He's scared of nothing and great hands. It's a good combination. Maybe he'll go inside. Maybe it'd be Lindner 2.0. Can we get his face off the milk carton yet, or what? Whatever happened to him?
Yeah.
Just woof,
I'd love to
gone.
know that.
That was it. On to real life. See ya.
Yeah.
Our next game, Buffalo and Georgia locked up, and the Bandits defeat Georgia 10-8 in their final preseason game. Scanlon, Benesh were scorers in the fourth. Benesh had 4 goals in total. Byrne, McKay with 2 each. Evan Konstantopoulos, he played 10 minutes, making 9 saves. That's the big news in all of this. He's almost ready. I am sure that he will be hitting practice squad, and then maybe midway, who knows. But he's the next big thing for Buffalo. And Chugger's taking his time with him, allowed him to be in the Orangeville program, learning and relearning, and each time getting better and better. And here you are. And on the doorstep of NLL. And gee, imagine being mentored by Matt Vince.
Yeah.
Coming
Learn
out of
from the best.
Orangeville in the first part, and then being mentored by Matt Vince. It's the best of all worlds, isn't it?
It was because not just Matt Vince, but I mean, while he's in
Chugger.
Orangeville, Nick
Chugger
Rose.
too, yeah.
Well, Nick Rose in Orangeville, plus say Chugger, who is the defensive and goalie coach, right? You also have Cosmo there as the goalie coach. So lots of Hall of Fame brains to draw from and learn from. And timing is everything in life. And as he's coming up is around the time when Matt Vince is about ready to hang him up, another year or two, whatever. And boom, that job is, if you are ready for it, it's there. That's pretty amazing. One other news from Bandit Land, of course, is Justin Martin retired. Not the one from Toronto, the other one. The one who has 3 cups. So we wish him all the best. There's a connection because his dad was part of the CFL. Good Canadian boy. I feel like Don Cherry again. We had one more game, and that was Colorado and Vancouver. And this was in Langley. Another chippy game. Everybody's trying to get their we have two games. No, one more game. And really, really chippy early. But as the game went along, very fluid game. Colorado wound up winning 9-8. So for anybody who thought that Colorado was in a bit of trouble, and well, they still have a lot of cutting to do, but they were carrying 2 squads worth of players last week. So, but why don't we have Kurt Molosky tell us in his own words?
I thought we were a lot better with our compete. I thought we changed a lot better. I thought our loose ball battles were good. The game was a little chippy early in the game, but I think both teams were just trying to get their way. And I thought that was much more of the speed of the National Lacrosse League this week than it was the week before, I felt. And I thought we got better, and their goaltenders played really well. Like, I thought Dylan played really well in the first half, and the other kid came in and Whitholm, he played really good too. So it was we didn't execute like we wanted to, but again, testament to their defense and their goaltending. They got a very good team there.
You talked about your D getting more into shape this time. They did that last night or tonight as well, and then your offense took a little bit longer to get going. Is that your assessment of tonight as well? Yeah,
our defense was on the floor a lot. I thought we had a lot of one-and-done possessions on the offensive side of things. I thought, we missed the net a lot. Their goalies, like I said, played really well. So our execution needs to be better. We had looks, we had chances. We just didn't put the ball in the net. But you know what? That's the exhibition. Season's behind us now, and now it's for real. And we have to elevate our game even more than we kind of did in the first couple.
You always talk about what's important next. It's next week, and it's the first game of the season. What are you looking to accomplish between now and then?
Well, watch the film. Unfortunately, the toughest part of the job is our roster cut down on Monday, so got to make some real tough decisions with some guys, and then just start pounding the film. We'll watch a little bit of them from last year and some of the exhibition games here, and try to refine some of the stuff we've been working on in training camp. And obviously we got to start on time and play consistent 60 minutes in National Lacrosse League. So and now it's for real. There's no excuses, and guys are chomping at the bit to play. But tonight wasn't our night, and they were better.
It was exciting to see the fans in here again. We've seen that 3 times now, Rogers, and now twice here. It's going to be interesting to see and exciting to see what happens next weekend.
Yeah, typically our home opener shows really well. Our fans come out and support us really well. And I said last year, I said every time I get a chance, they make a difference. And even in this rink, they're cheering for us, they're on our side and bumping our guys up. And I don't see it to be any different down at Rogers. And we're excited to get back down there and play in front of them.
Did you like the offense's ball movement and ability to get to the middle?
Yeah, we got to the middle. We didn't execute well, but you know what? We talk about the process, and the outcome will take care of itself. And I thought guys got the middle floor. They got a big, strong, mean, physical defense, and they play a really good umbrella system. And they got one of the best goalies in National Lacrosse League, Dylan Ward. So you got to tip your hat and give some credit to them. But it wasn't from our lack of effort. I think we had our chances to win the game, but it didn't happen tonight. And we just have to go back to the drawing board and be better next week.
How How do you think the team has been clicking, especially on the offensive side with the new additions?
It's going to take time. Like I've said last week, it's the last thing that comes together is the offense. But I think we got better this week as opposed to last week. I didn't like our game as much last week, but our offensive guys got to the net more, like you said earlier. And we just got to hit our shots a little bit better. We got to get the goaltenders moving. I think a lot of them, especially on the power play, we kind of set our feet and they're able to slide up off the crease and get in our shooting lanes. We got to shoot the ball a little quicker and make quicker decisions. I thought we sat in our sticks a little bit longer, trying to be a little bit too fine maybe, and then we end up putting the goalie stick a lot.
Seeing this.
Both says it all, really. And that was the preseason for this year. And it all is for real starting Friday out in Oshawa. I will be there. A little bit torn between teams, really. But hey, we're there. Pick'ems will be starting this week as well. Get ready, boys.
Here we go.
All right. I'm undefeated.
So far, you're 500, Mike.
Yeah.
We're looking to stay above the waterline. Am I going to try and knock my crown off? I got to get me a crown, don't I? Anyway, I wanted to start looking at some of the differences that the teams had done. The NLL moves, really off-season moves. Let's do this alphabetically. We'll start off with Buffalo and work our way across. Of course, additions of Ryan Benesh, Mike Triolo, Coltrane Tyson, losing Fraser and Kluche. So my question, of course, to you guys is, did they increase, decrease, or stay the same? Shawn, why don't we start with you?
I think they kind of stayed the same. I know we've talked about it, maybe getting a little bit older might make them decrease a little bit, but as kind of that stats just with who they've gained and lost, those are two big pieces in Fraser and Kluche, but again, you pick up a guy like Triolo, I think that he can slip right into that lineup. So again, they're the defending champs until it comes someone can knock them off and prove us any differently.
Mike?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, the Benesh signing may be a bit of a head scratcher just because of the core group getting older. But like Shawn, I mean, we've been saying it for 3 years now. They're getting older. They're not getting any young guys in, but
mm-hmm.
they're the ones looking for history here,
right?
With the 4-peat. So,
two things come to mind. Not even about Chase Fraser. It's about losing Chris Kluche and his ability to do things off ball. I don't think they addressed that. Triolo, is a big body and is another Nanacoke thing. So now on either side, you can have that. I don't think, and with Benesh, he is reminds me a little bit of Ryland Hartley. He is one big hit away from a lot of darkness for a while. And I tend to wonder, especially in the style that the Bandits play. Healthy, he can be a force. I'm not sure over the long haul of a grind of a season at this stage if this is the piece that Buffalo needed in order to replace a Fraser and a Kluche. Just being a bit of devil's advocate out there. If we want to do a love in, we can do another thing. But just to put a little bit of ideas out there, just in case. And I look and we have Scanlon in there, who was mighty last year coming in amongst injuries. But I don't know. And also when you're losing an unsung hero, really, Justin Martin, he was under the radar all the time, but he was there all the time. And I realize that you can use Kyle Matisse out both doors and give him his role that he had in Georgia, make him transition. And really, that would add another piece that would keep Ian McKay as a forward all time. And I'm sure that Tavares has already got all these ideas mapped out and blueprinted for all the way up to probably game 10 by now. But just a thought of something other than, yeah, it's great. It's also, we've seen what happens if Matt Vince goes down, right?
That's going to be the big question.
Are they ready for the just in case? Konstantopoulos is close. Is he ready? Orleman, can he handle that kind of pressure in a long effort if it's 3-4 games? We'll see. It is always to be better on the side of that black and blue defense than facing it, though.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's move to Ottawa. And their key additions, of course, was Liam Aston, Tyler Carlson, Sam Firth, Rob Hellier. That one was the biggest one, I think. Subtractions, Taggart Clark, Cam Dunkerley, John LaFontaine. Now, losing LaFontaine, I think, is one that's more than anything, I don't think has been replaced. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, you could make the argument that, their transition might be a little slower than it was last year. They had Matisse and Ranjan, didn't they?
Yeah.
'Cause I think both of them were dealt to Buffalo mid-season. So there's definitely some question marks, I think, in their transition game as a result.
Right.
But I think having Hellier certainly solidifies that offense. I mean, I personally like their lefty core. It's been stable now for a couple of years with Jeff Teed, obviously, Riley O'Connor, Larson Sundown. I think that's a solid group of lefties they have there.
Right.
Not sure who the last lefty is that'll make the team, but isn't Zach Hairwires in there, Cam?
He is.
So he could be their fourth. If he's their fourth lefty, that's a pretty solid lefty forward core you have there.
Right. Again, talking about goaltending, if Higgins goes down now that Dunkerley's not there, is Carlson the answer? I don't think so.
Oh, boy. Yeah, likely not.
It wouldn't have been before, so why would it be now? That's a head scratcher, that one, of all the pieces that are out there. And I'll get into that idea again when we get to Vegas, right? But Sam Firth, I think, will be a good addition into all that. I think he'll fit.
I really like that one, Sam Firth. I definitely like that one. I think, he's a younger guy who I just needs to be put in the right situation, and especially when you're putting him in offense with, a Teat. Rob Hellier will bring a lot of leadership as well out that front door. That's going to be a scary, scary offense for sure. Like you said, maybe some question marks on defense, some maybe depth issues with goaltending, but they're shaping out to be pretty good.
Definitely. All right, why don't we move over to Las Vegas, and since we already we're talking about that. Subtractions, Gagliardi and Holden Gattoni. Big additions being Chris Cloutier, Chase Fraser, Tyson Gibson, Mitch Jones, John LaFontaine. Of course, goaltending, again, Alex Bouquet is part of that goaltending mix. Landon Kells is still the number one goalie. Did we miss an opportunity there since everything else changed for the upper echelon? Mike?
I'd like to say yes, but, who else were they going to go out and get? They let Justin get, they cut Justin Getty. Your third goaltender is probably going to be Caleb Kahn. unless he did enough to outperform one of the other two to make the squad. But I mean, I think we knew all along when Nick Rose got traded to Calgary that he was probably going back to Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there just weren't a whole lot of big name goalies on the free agent market.
Which was one of the reasons why Toronto got Nick Rose back. One of a couple of reasons, anyways. But with all the changes that Vegas made, and fantastic changes at that, when your most important position, I'm convinced.
Yeah, that's why I scratched my head when they got rid of Getty. I didn't understand that one. Like, I guess, okay, you're getting a more experienced goaltender in Alex Bouquet. And I mean, you guys know how I feel about Caleb Kahn. I think he's going to be an excellent goaltender, but he's still really, really young, and he's probably got ways to come still to play at this level. Because I think, that was a head scratcher to me.
That one didn't make any sense to me either, and I understand the Kahn idea is keep him on a practice squad, give him his reps, let him get his feet wet with the team. But wouldn't Getty be the better? Honestly,
I'm torn on this one because I can see Sean's point that maybe Kahn isn't ready, but it's also tough to say he's not ready when he's already had kind of a full season of WLA play, whereas Konstantopoulos, who we're almost kind of saying is maybe farther along than Caleb Kahn,
right,
hasn't really had any senior A reps. He's still in juniors. So it's kind of...
I guess that's a good point. We really haven't seen Kahn stay live.
It almost sounds like a wash to me, between the two. I mean, maybe Kahn hasn't, I don't know, I don't want to say he hasn't had the development, but, a full season of WLA reps, and, he did, no, Langley didn't make the playoffs, right?
No,
last year.
He didn't. I was going to say, you have to take in consideration, the different size nets and pads. Like, there's still going to be an adjustment coming over from WL to NLL, and we really haven't seen it. Maybe he is. We really haven't seen him take many live bullets at the NLL level.
That's a good point. I mean, neither of them have, but I think it's a little iffy maybe to say that he's not ready while we're saying Konstantopoulos is ready when he's had kind of a full season of reps in senior A, where Konstantopoulos is still working in juniors.
Right. But that's also drafting Konstantopoulos when he may have been 6'7", but he's still 18.
And Konstantopoulos has had a couple of years. This is his second year now.
Yeah,
that's been drafted. Whereas Kahn's just fresh out of.
I'm not saying anything about him being on the practice squad or something like that. As long as he can get his reps. But I'm
just saying, I don't know whether you can really. Maybe you could make a comparison, but at the same point, like I said, Konstantopoulos has had a couple years now behind, learning from a Vince and a Chugger, whereas Kahn's just getting called up now.
True.
Right. All right, let's keep moving. And, of course, the inaugural Oshawa Firewolves. Sorry, Caden. And, key additions, of course, Taggart Clark and Kyle Rubish, who now just has to roll out of bed, and he's at the Tribute Center. Subtractions, of course, Ethan O'Connor, Sam Firth, and the retired Callum Crawford. We knew the writing on the wall there as soon as Albany moved to Oshawa that Crawford wasn't about to pick up and move with them. So instead of having his 17th team, he decided to call it a career. But Oshawa, are they upper echelon, middle of the road, or lower? Mike? We've seen him in all spots in the last couple of years.
I think that's what makes it hard, maybe, to pin down.
Yeah.
I
Same nucleus at that.
I mean, signing. I think the Rubish signing. I think the Rubish signing was going to work out for them, despite his age. I mean, we know all the
he's still an elite defender. He's still an elite defender. Even at his age,
yeah.
So.
We know all the accolades. There maybe maybe his numbers aren't quite what they were when he was winning those awards, but that's.
I say you're going to get a very fresh Kyle Rubish, one who doesn't have to take 5-hour flights.
Yeah,
exactly, and it's we talked about it when we talked with Brad McCulley about joining the Nighthawks and bringing championship experience. This is maybe kind of the other side of the same coin, where it's you're bringing championship experience, and it's not a situation where like McCulley has, where he's still young and he's fighting tooth and nail for a roster spot.
Right.
This is This
he also has one other thing too.
NLL Cups, and he's going to be the only guy on the team probably with championship experience,
right?
And far and away going to be the oldest player on the team, but can impart a lot onto what is probably the youngest squad, maybe other than Vegas, in the league.
Right. Yeah. I look at this also is that he and the most important relationship he needs on the team is with his goalie, and him and Doug Jamieson played on Six Nations together because he was part of that first.
That's huge. That's huge right there.
So they're very familiar with one another as teammates. And if he's going to lead the defense and Jamison's going to call the switches, it helps when they're on the same page for that to work seamlessly. And I think that'll be a big asset that we really don't talk about or notice all that much. It's something that when it works, you don't notice it. When it doesn't work, it's glaring. And we've seen it both ways. And I think this is a huge plus. But also, I think the addition of Taggart Clark, if this happened a couple of years ago, maybe not. But the Taggart Clark of the last couple of years has grown and matured. And it's not Glenn Clark's son. It's Taggart Clark player that is in there now. And you put him with Simmons, you put him
Kurtz.
Kurtz, you put him with a few others. You can list off, Dyson, whether it doesn't make a difference.
I was just thinking the same side, that righty core. Now you have Simmons, you have Kurtz, and you have Clark. On the other side, you got Dyson Williams, you got Ethan Walker.
Because the one thing that we had that was if it's even an X, was they had so much youth there and exuberance, but to have some of that veteran savvy to know when to pull back a little bit, to know when not to be going full in this one and know when to go full the other way. They have more of that experience now again. And I think that's going to play very well. It's also big that, there's not a ticket available for Friday's game. Not one.
Yes. Excellent news.
That's big. Yeah.
So you're going to be playing in front of a full bar. Granted, it's, against Toronto, so it's a mixed, probably 50-50 split. You could probably close your eyes and not know who has the home game. But yet it's still going to be an electric atmosphere. So looking at that, and the next couple of games also after that, and I know the Gales night is January 10th, and lots of things going on, and they did it right. They, unlike other teams that have gone at it alone, Oshawa got in with the city. Oshawa got in with the Whitby minor lacrosse, also with Brooklyn, and are working hand in hand with them so that everybody elevates. People realize that there's summer things going on, and summer people, including players, especially younger players, know that this is there and probably at a discount can get seats, which is what I've been preaching forever, is it not? Is you market to the kids and then you sell more than one ticket. And at the Tribute Center at about 7,000 seats, you're not looking at having to, sell 19,000 a game, but it certainly would be nice to have 7,000 in it for a game, make it a must-have ticket.
Absolutely.
So it looks like it's in the right trajectory, should we say. So that works out very, very well. All right, let's move on over. We're talking about Rochester. It's funny how these all kind of interrelate to one another, right? And, of course, the Nighthawks. They added Adam Thistlewaite, Jeremy Thompson, Zed Williams. Let's also add re-add Brad McCulley since he signed as a free agent there again. Brandon Slade and Kevin Orleman are gone. The rich get richer.
Yeah, this is a team that was up in the upper echelon that just got higher, I think. Jerry Thompson, you know what you got in him. Maybe a little bit older, sure, but you got face-off guy as well as, like a play defense. And
more grit, too.
Yeah, and then Zed Williams is Zed Williams, right? We saw what he did in Colorado. And you just add him into that already potent offense.
Mike, this is something I talked about earlier in the year, and I'd asked the question: with Seneca Nation buying the team, would it have more of an appeal for native players to come there and play? And I think I got my answer with Jeremy Thompson and Zed Williams, that all of a sudden we have not just native players, we have big name native players playing there, which in turn will bring in crowd of native people to watch their own.
Yeah, and I would include Jake Pisano on that list as well.
Yeah.
So, I
and since Sisselberger's a holdout, it's really big to get Jeremy Thompson there because you don't lose anything. If anything, you gain because you're getting grit too and consistency.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Goaltending, Hartley and Hutchcraft both will look good in preseason. They pretty much split it down the middle. If I were Mike Hazen, I probably would platoon him just to save Hartley a little bit and just to keep Hutchcraft in the mix. Because if something happens somewhere, you need him to be ready for NLL reps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not averse to that idea because I think I think no matter who starts, the backup is arguably the best backup goalie in the NLL right now.
Yeah.
They're one of the few teams that have two starters.
They really do, yeah.
Yeah. They really do. So I'm not averse to that idea. I mean, if we're going to use an example, look at Six Nations, and they alternate between Doug Jamieson and Warren Hill starting each game.
Yep.
And they're in the same position Buffalo's in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think over there it's the rich get richer. I think they were on the cusp of something really great with Brian Smith, Connor Fields, and the list goes down. I don't want to name off the whole roster, but it's incredible the amount of talent.
Maybe we should name off the whole roster because we've talked about it a little bit, but it's going to come to the forefront this week. Some teams are waiting for final cuts to happen and seeing who's going to be available. Anyone Rochester lets go has a high likelihood of potentially being picked up somewhere if a team has some sort of need early in the season.
That's true, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's
So
why I think this week is going to be very, very interesting.
that's one team, even more so than a Buffalo or a San Diego or or even a Halifax.
Right.
You're going to be slow. Who did Rochester cut?
Mm-hmm.
And will they fit?
I'm curious how the accounting
flyer?
works, because you always hide the numbers and hide the players, and who is going to be
Yes,
physically unable to perform, or who's holding out, or just curious to see how they move that around. But needless to say, that is going to be one exciting team, and if you are in the area, you're going to want to get tickets, because that's going to be a fun place to play again. And I remember the old days over at Lacrosse, and I loved it. And I think this is going to be another year in which it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of headache for visiting teams when they come in there.
And they don't actually play until the very end of week 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
The NLL schedule strikes again.
Yep.
All right, let's move ourselves over to the Midwest, and we hit into Colorado. And well, this is interesting, because you look at Keith's attractions, but the team, I watched them field 2 teams last week. There's so many players on there, and then they've already done a lot of cutting and slicing. But Andrew Q, that speaks for itself. Dylan McIntosh, another one, speaks for itself. Braden Saris, I can't say enough good things about his game, and everything about it. And a big kid, great hands, gifted scorer, out of the Peterborough organization, now was out of the Coburg organization before. And wow, did he ever add something to the Lakers? Subtractions, Damon Edwards, well, the writing's been on the wall for the last couple of years as his role is diminished. Tyson Gibson, they may feel that one. Connor Kelly, Connor Robinson, Zed Williams, all huge names off of that roster. As we heard from Malowski, Dylan Ward is back in the nets for another year with Colorado. So it'd be interesting also with the goaltending battle, since I watched the 3 goalies last week also. But I think that the goalie that we saw as the backup line, I think that's staying status quo. But
yeah, I mean, from the sound, from the sounds of Mouse's soundbite there. I think Whittam's going to be the
as much as I like Caleb Martin, I think he's back in the ALL next year. But
yeah, I mean, as far as their losses, I mean, I guess you can't, I guess you can't say that losing Kelly is a big loss, considering that you got Andrew Q in return.
Right.
And, right now it's looking like they win that trade, because Connor Kelly, I think, is still on the holdout list.
That's correct.
For Georgia.
Yeah.
So, hopefully Georgia can find a way to sign him and convince him to come play for them this year. But and then you've got the retirement there. Losing Gibson does hurt. Maybe Zed, not so worried about, because I mean, Zed's not slated to return until
early next
March,
year,
maybe.
anyways. Yeah.
So we're probably looking at like a late February timetable for his return from that Achilles. So, that's one way. I guess we should mention it before, but that's one way Rochester can kind of do a little musical players and retain talent and not let it go to be picked up by other teams.
Right.
At least for the first half of the season or so.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, but boy, it's going to be an exciting team.
Yeah, I mean, I think the defense, it almost kind of creeps up on you. the defense has a lot of size.
Yeah.
Guys like
Very
Warren
physical.
Jeffrey,
Yeah.
Brett Craig, Robert Hope, Owen Down is a big body. They have a lot of big bodies back there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this team kind of shapes out. Like, not taking away those key additions, you just wonder, did they maybe lose a bit too much? Then there's always the question of Ryan Lee and just how his health is. He's absolutely fantastic when he's on the floor, but the last couple of years he's had injury problems. That's where I'm kind of on the fence too, right? Like, there is some very good key additions there, but they also lost quite a bit as well. So it's hard to say.
And maybe that's the kind of team that's going to be looking at rosters for Rochester, Vancouver, etc. Come cuts. Okay, hey, who can we snag that just got out on the street?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving here. We go to Toronto, the Rock. And while Brian Cameron and Corey Small are gone, they didn't list Tom Schreiber, which is also just a little drop in the bucket, right? Back, second key addition, Sam English, who was a 24 draft pick, first round. Owen Hill, CJ Kirst, and Nick Rose is signed as a free agent, of course. I really liked what I saw from Sam English last night. I remembered from a couple of seasons ago when he played with Oakville and how good he was. He had a great summer, PLL. And, I can't wait till his brother Ty joins him next year with another first-round pick in there. And he's even bigger and faster. But Sam English is afraid of nothing. He's not the biggest guy out there, but he's not afraid to get into the fray and dig for loose balls. Owen Hills, we've already talked about, is got such a great shot and is just a ball of energy. He's no tall. He's about 5'8", but he's a tank, and he's not going to be denied. And he can shoot from anywhere, anyhow, and really works out. CJ Kirst comes as advertised. He's a number one, and he showed it. And unlike some of the other PLL stars that have come in as this big highfalutin hoopla, he really looks like he's adjusted to the game fast and understands where he needs to be, what his role is, and to be able to use the great hands given. He doesn't seem to be bothered by in tight, and that's huge. That's the trip up with most of the PLL guys who come out of NCAA and really haven't played the box game, is that in tight, when they can't extend their arms, they're fairly useless. That's not the case with Kirst. He is not afraid to dive across the crease. He's not afraid to get inside. He's not afraid to set picks or be a quarterback. When you have Mark Matthews, who's back and healthy, and then remember, Matthews only played 2 games before he went down with shoulder surgery last year, which was the, shall we say, the beginning of the waterfall going downward. Because one goal either way for about 6 of those losses, and they're wins. And with a team that was depleted all year round and is still that close, though luck and the lacrosse gods weren't in their corner. This time around, a little bit different. Depth has returned. Though Schreiber's not back, I don't see the loss there. I see people stepping up. And, of course, when you have a world talent like Tom Schreiber, you're going to miss that kind of savvy and that kind of ability. But there are a lot of people that have a lot of ability that are in Rock uniforms. And if they can find the defensive scheme that works with Rose in net, they're going to be a force. What do you guys think? Mike?
How about signing Dan Lintner to shore up that right-hand side?
Love it.
Yeah.
I got a picture off the milk carton.
Make room for a lot of other names that are going to be on the milk carton after 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, just the idea, of having another tall guy at 5'7" in the lineup warms my heart. I know, but
well, listen, if there's some reason Lintner can't play, how about CJ Gerst's brother Cole, who's on the holdout list for Halifax right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Why
CJ
not get
seems to
him
love
on
the
the
Rock
red side?
facility, so if he can get on the phone with his brother, I'm sure Jamie can find a spot for him. But
Because it
inside
seems like Kurt
Chris
Stiers can't
Bucci-
find a home for him in Halifax.
Chris Bucci has
Spot for
been
him, so.
been actually putting a real good role of digging and behind the net like he was doing last year, but also being really a utility player inside as well. And really, you can tell he's feeling it this year because healthy and energetic, and everybody is. The funny thing is that this is the most unified I've seen this team in a while, where everybody is doing the extras, setting the picks, doing the thing, doing the off-ball stuff, and it's not a me kind of thing. I watched Phil Mazuka, and boy, has he ever improved over the last couple of years as a player, as a matured player, as a cerebral player. He's not out of position. Does he still do his transitional runs? Yes, he's still fast as all can be. But he's not out of position because as quickly as he goes down the floor, he comes back and is not caught. That's big. He's not sulking if he didn't score. And to watch and him being physical and all the rest of that, it's Chris Weir, a guy who was on the cutting floor really a couple of years ago, but for some injuries, who has earned, kicked, scratched his way to be an integral part of this lineup that you never actually talk about him and on the cutting thing. He's on the side of okay, we got these positions and now we got, and he's earned his way onto that lineup and can score. He's got hands. Big body, about 6'2", 6'3", and can move and can defend. Robert Hudson looks interested this year. Don't forget that move before. So him being an asset to the team and being veteran, but not being old, I think plays well into that organization as well. There really is, and we say it a lot, and sometimes we say it maybe too much about that mix of veteran and youth. And this team actually has that because you have 3 first-round picks in there that are in the lineup, mixed in with a couple of others from before, Josh Dahlwick and whatever, who are not old by any stretch, maybe mid-20s, maybe. And then you have the Hostrousers, you have the Brad Krees, you have the Chris Bouchis, you have the Mark Matthews. It's a real down the line mix, which will come in handy not when they're winning, but when something not so great happens, whether it be in game, whether it be after game. That's when that comes in, and that's what I think was missing last year. Is when the walls starting to crumble. There was no one there to say, "Hey guys, just throw some plaster up. We're good," and the walls just kept on, tinkering down.
Yeah, I was going to say, Gary, and I think a big piece, and you mentioned it before, is Mark Matthews kind of being inspired again, kind of you see him re-engaged again. I think that's a big piece because I know that's why he got chipped out of Saskatchewan, is because you weren't really seeing that hustle and he was kind of losing a step. Right. And I think even the first couple of years there with Toronto, he just wasn't quite right. But seeing him now kind of get that pep back in his step and kind of re-engaged again is going to be huge.
Setting hard picks and doing all kinds of things. And then to talk with Elijah Gass, even just briefly, but to see the enthusiasm and his eyes just light up when we're talking, it's just amazing. And, does he have things to learn? Of course, he's the first one to admit it. But is his game getting more and more stable NLL-like? Oh, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to try him. And I don't think anybody's going to try and take liberties. And every time you run by him, you're going to get a good cross check into the hips. And I watched that a bunch of times last night. And nobody's turning around to go, yeah. Mm-hmm. That will be big also when you're trying to, divide an offense. So I think that they're onto something here. And don't forget, like I said, Ty English comes in next year as a first-round pick to go on top of whatever first-round pick they get there in the next draft. And really, the next 2 drafts are big ones. So really, you can still keep lining for it. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch this year, I think. All right, let's keep moving. We got the Roughnecks now. And this one was one that we all went, uh-oh. We sounded like we did about 5 years ago. Uh-oh, everybody's gone. Uh-oh. And yet they keep winning in preseason. It's funny when you have no pressure. Now, key additions, Riley Lowing, Noah Manning, we talked about already. Kyle Pepper, another of, the Pepper family is just, lacrosse royalty. And Aiden Walsh in there as a backup. Losing Reese Callies, Curtis Dixon, Dane Doby, Jesse King, and Nick Rose. Those are some big names. That's tough to overcome. However, that's a lot of age that they just lost. If we added up all the ages there, we have a big, big number. And if we can put that in with some enthusiastic youth to go with, the people who are still there, I'd say we're doing not too bad. And with Josh Sanderson at the helm, and Troy Cordingley, I don't think that you are too far into the mist, so to speak.
Yeah, now we're sure Walsh is going to be the backup. He's likely was.
I think he's the starter.
He might be the starter then, man.
I would think so. I mean, let's not forget that he was the future considerations part of the Del Bianco trade. So,
yeah.
Which we all kind of figured was coming, but
I wasn't sure about him being a starter before, so I'm not sure that's
because sure else you have Cam McLeod. Cam McLeod did not look great until they brought Nick Rose in. So again, that's that question mark: is Aiden Walsh? Can he take that next step? And kind of like Colorado, there's a lot of pieces there that went away. That is it too much, even though, yes, there are some key additions, no doubt. Did they lose too much? And Noah Manning has been a great surprise in preseason. Let's see if he can kind of translate that over into the regular season. Kyle Pepper, I mean, we've also seen what he's done through the summer. So, I mean, you know what you're getting with him. Riley Lowen, you bring in some experience, some leadership there. But yes, you do cut a lot of age, but did you maybe cut a little too much out of there?
Right. Well, time will tell with that because it wasn't that they cut it; it's they walked, right? So,
they lost it, yeah. I mean, Dane Doby's still in the mix, is kind of in behind the scenes now, but you lose that on field, yeah.
I don't think that's a big problem though, because he'd lost more than a step.
Yeah,
over the last couple of years, and it's the right time to hang it up while you still have a legacy. So if he's still with the organization and they can still get the cerebral part of his game, I think that they're still winning in that aspect. So let's move on to your neck of the woods, Shawn. We'll move into the Rush, Saskatchewan, and of course, Levi Virch as a pick, with the subtraction, of course, Triolo. Not a lot, really. But there wasn't a lot of things that needed to happen. Lane Ruska also gone, so he's out of the mix. But not a lot of things needed for a team that was just, on the cusp of really shocking the world last year.
It really wasn't. It's kind of like Buffalo, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And, it'll be interesting to see what Levi Virch does. Again, kind of the guys that Derek Keane likes, an athletic player. Yeah, you lose some size of Mike Triolo, but that opens the door so that guys like Levi Anderson get more playing time. Zawada can get more playing time. I don't, as much as you hate to see him go, I don't think there's going to be much drop off there. And I think the question mark I think last year, probably the best thing to happen to Frank Chiliano was his wife having a baby. It gave him a couple games off. I think that's kind of what we see with him. If he can trail off at the end of the season. So I think if they can find that nice mix and maybe give Thomas Kajzak a few games kind of mid-season to give Chiliano a bit of a break,
I think he's
he'll
earned
be
it.
fine. Yeah.
Isaac's earned it, really. Even in the summer here, he's earned it to get that kind of respect to not just play when the game is a blowout one way or the other. To
And
actually
he's shown even
minutes.
last year. Yeah, he's shown last year he can do it. I mean, he's probably going to be the future in that rush net.
Well, hell, he had 1 minute of play before he got thrust in there to play a couple of games in which he won them all.
Yeah.
In a season where you really couldn't afford to lose any, if you were vying for the championship, right?
Yeah, I guess more of the question mark is we saw kind of that preseason game. We saw Naso on the IR, so hopefully that's nothing long term. Shanks, I'm hoping that's just sitting him out, just to give him a rest, because we know what we get in Austin Shanks. And Matt Hossack, again, short-term holdout, so hopefully he's back on the roster. But other
Shanks
than that,
also being a firefighter, that might have just been a conflict schedule, right? So
yeah,
that's you have to have the beauty of the part-time league, right? You have to take care of that. You don't get that in the Big Four,
yeah,
where there's money flowing. But hey,
I just want to mention they kind of have a big holdout on their list too, in Patrick Dodds.
Patrick Dodds, and again, where do you fit Dodds in?
And if you
we
can't
thought we
fit
could
him
fit him in already, but you can't.
Well, listen, I mean, if you can't fit him in, we've already talked about about Toronto could use another righty, because maybe they'll look at Cole Kirst. Maybe Georgia needs a righty if Connor Kelly's holding out. Maybe Calgary needs a righty to fit in with Hayden Dixon and Tyler Pace to beef up that offense.
Right.
So they're if
by no means do I think the movement is finished yet. So.
Oh yeah, no, by all means,
if Derek Keenan comes calling, you got Derek Keenan on line one offering Patrick Dodds.
Mm-hmm. Derek Keenan's very good at next thing giving up all your draft
picks. How many
picks.
GMs are actually going to turn that down right now?
I'm hoping the one in Toronto does.
We know how Derek wants his draft picks, so he could lead a lot of draft picks for Patrick Dodds.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let's move, stay west, and we'll move a little further south there. We're going to San Diego. And they made a lot of news over the offseason. Losing Banesh, Hellier, Cam Holding retiring, Kyle Rubers, we talked about already, going to Oshawa. However, Cam Dunkerley, Chris Kavanaugh, Connor Robinson, Corey Small, and Ari Steinhaus being added in there. Now, do I think Ari Steinhaus is going to hold on? No, I saw him drafted into the ALL, so he's got a spot there if he doesn't hold on there. So that's all fine and good. Corey Small could add the bit of piece that they're losing from Rob Hellier, though, on the other side, with that shot, the quick stick, and still with enough savvy to be a quarterback for that squad. Mike, what do you think?
So I kind of sum up Robinson and Small this way, even though they're both, snipers, you're solving two problems in your lefty core. Actually 3 problems. You're solving the problem of Banesh leaving. You're solving the problem of, is Mac O'Keefe playing, not playing? It's there's this on again, off again with Mac O'Keefe that they've had for several years now. And third, do you have, or do you want to have Austin Stotts back now that he's reinstated? To me, if your answer across the board there is no, you've solved that problem by acquiring both Robinson and Small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they solved their depth at goaltending too with bringing Cameron Dunkerley in. I mean, obviously have
Originally, was
regularity.
going to take the majority of the minutes, and he's
Yeah,
young.
no
He can
doubt.
do it.
Yeah, no doubt. But now you kind of have that backup where you had Mike Poulin before, who was, let's face it, he was retired. He was just there more as a coach than anything. But
Mhm.
now you have, a solid number 2 behind over regularity if you need him. Maybe a little bit of question mark at defense, losing maybe Holding and Rubish. But they get younger, which is, I think, something we've been saying about them, right?
Well, remember, Holding is also going to be still with the organization, right? You know
Yeah.
that he's already with all the junior SEALs and everything like that. He's not going that far. So again,
and I think you're getting some guys who've been, again, kind of on again, off again. Guys like Graydon Bradley, who's been pretty much with the team since the start, since their inception, and now he's a core guy.
That's true. Yeah.
He's bounced back and forth between practice squad and holding out and stuff like that. Now he's
funny enough, solid. They've actually gotten younger.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think that's the biggest thing is they're getting younger.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something we were talking about before, is how do you react? It's all fine and good in the middle of the season. How do you react in April and May when it really comes down to it? When guys A are hurt, B are banged up, or C, they're just downright out and injured or out of gas.
Yeah.
And, especially San Diego is probably the worst place because it doesn't matter who you're playing, you're traveling and traveling distance. So either way, it's all fine. Well, most of the guys are from Ontario when they're playing Rochester. Yeah, but you got to fly back to San Diego.
Yeah.
And that's where age, it affects it a little bit more. I know. Anyways, let's move on to probably the biggest question mark and the most silent of all the teams in the offseason, and that's Georgia, the Swarm. They lost Brendan Bomberry. They lost Andrew Q. They lost Jeremy Thompson. Miles Thompson, I guess, is retiring. I guess he's just not going to do it anymore. Nolan Byrne, Mike Grace, and Ben Trumbull are all draft picks from the last couple of years. Ben Trumbull is going to be a star. Whether it be now, I don't think so, but he's going to be a star. He is big. He is good hands. He has got good lacrosse IQ. He's in the Peterborough organization, and he's going to be something that people will remember. But for the time being, are they depleted? Shawn?
Yeah, I get that feeling, and I even hear the whispers. If things start going south around the trade deadline, it looks like you're not making the playoffs. Do you look to move Lyle and start the rebuild?
You get yourself almost all the draft picks for the next 2 drafts for him,
and start the rebuild, because I just feel like that's where it's going.
I was gonna throw in with Lyle. We just saw Jeremy sign with Rochester, and we talked about Seneca Nation.
Wouldn't that be something?
Possibly bringing in, is that?
Wouldn't that be something?
Is that a catalyst for Lyle? Going to Rochester.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It's the only brother that's left in, right? And it's not far from home, and Seneca Nation, and I can go on and on, really.
Well, yeah, and Rochester's a young enough
for the
team
final, right?
too. Rochester's still a young enough team too that they could afford to give up some good draft picks.
Sure. You take a look at the number 1 draft pick. We didn't even talk about Thomas McConvey in there. Waters, a number of guys we didn't talk about that were already on that lineup that they're going to be there for a number of years. So, yeah, can they? Of course.
I could see it. Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I guess the only thing that would baffle me about Georgia is...
Hey, Eduardo, welcome. Thank you.
Eduardo.
Knowing that they've been playoff caliber the last couple of years, maybe not getting as far as they should have. I mean, 2 years ago. They lost to Buffalo in a tight, an overtime game.
Seth Oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's funny you bring that up because it is odd to think that the last 2 cups Buffalo have won, they could have been knocked out in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Had Seth Oaks played 2 years ago for Georgia in that game, I don't think Buffalo wins that game. And then last year, if they don't get that dunk right before halftime from Kyle Buchanan, you're looking at Zach Currier scoring with like 0.1 tick on the clock to tie the game at 4.
Yeah.
And we're going into overtime, and San Diego probably has all the momentum going into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you have to wonder, because we have talked about some of the longtime veterans on that Swarm offense, Lyle, Shane Jackson, Brian Cole. Are John and Andy Arlotta maybe preemptively trying to get ahead of, the inevitable rebuild by starting to rebuild now?
Well, if the writing's on the wall, the good thing is that they have a good coaching squad between Eddie Como, Sean Ferris, Andy Secord, and his name's Krepensek, Alex Krepensek.
Right.
You have yourself a really good coaching squad in there. And no matter what they throw at them, they will be able to find a way upward and make it work. So if they're going to give up draft picks, or if they're going to get rid of Lyle for more draft picks, I think that though it'll be an initial blow, I don't think that would be too far. The only thing is I worry fan base, right? There's been so much invested of Lyle into the area. How much does that hurt outside of the floor?
Yeah, and I'd say not only him, but I'd say Jackson and Cole too.
Yeah,
I think Jackson and Cole do a lot down there with grassroots.
Oh, Dobson does too. Dobson lives down there as well, right?
So I guess I was looking at that from the standpoint of.
Then again, when you have a goalie,
we just talked about GMs picking up the phone. If Derek Keen's calling about offering Patrick Dodds, every GM should be picking up the phone and listening. If it's
Arlotta,
saying I've got any one of Lyle, Shane Jackson, or Brian Cole. Let's not forget that Shane Jackson is an MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not just
see, when you have goaltending, again, working with the most invaluable position on outward, like a Dobson, it's not a total rebuild, because if you have your pieces on defense, then it's about fitting more pieces towards offense. And again, it's like Toronto losing Schreiber. 2-3 years ago, you would go, it's not that big a deal right now. Granted, the last
I see it's not. I see that not big of a deal, because you drafted the pieces to fill in that spot. You got 3 really high draft picks to fill that spot.
Knowing that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So if Georgia's knowing that this is going to happen, and they will be knowing it's going to be happening, because they're the ones in control of it. It's not him asking to be traded.
Yep.
So if this is the case, then they will be, definitely looking for a certain thing or a number of picks in the first round, and what they can do from there.
Yeah, and let's maybe add to that list of available veterans on the back end. I mean, we've talked about some struggles that he's had since going there, but Joey Capito,
right?
GM, most GMs are probably going to want to listen.
Mm-hmm.
If he's being offered, if Mike Manley's being offered.
Yeah.
If you're Paul Day or Pat McCready and you want a little more physicality on your back end in Philly, I think you're picking up the phone if Mike Manley's available.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of pieces still there. So even if we're talking about a rebuild, I don't think it's a total rebuild. And if they are, being proactive with it, it won't be a gut and then rebuild. But it all depends. And again, what Arlotta has shown me over the last number of years is he's able to assimilate to what he has and what he can do. And Georgia's never out of anything. They've had some years where they're a little leaner than other years, and that's due to injury. But one of the major ones that they were holding was Miles, who never really got over that knee injury. And well, if he's not here now, that's one piece they don't have to worry about now. All right, let's keep moving. We go to Halifax and the Thunderbirds, and they picked up Brendan Bomberry and Ethan O'Connor. They didn't really lose anybody. Well, Randy Stott's being hurt is losing somebody, but technically, it's all for the good, right? In fact, with the goal with Spaghetti in there, my question, of course, is Hutchison. Will he be happy to be relegated to a third string, or will Getty be happy to be relegated to a third string, or do one of them be out of work as of 3:00 tomorrow?
You also think they're going to go with Getty if they go after him like that.
But Hutchison looked pretty good last year when Hill was floundering.
Yeah. No doubt.
Hutchison also looked pretty good this summer.
Again, we've seen it before. Yes.
We've seen in past preseasons. Week 2, week 3 of the preseason, you pick up a guy off the street, and then a week later he's cut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also pick him up so somebody else doesn't. And then by the time you release him, they've already set their lineup. So it's proactive. You have no intention of keeping him. It's the New York Yankee theory. I will get all these guys and I will bench them. I'll sit them on my bench, but at least you can't use them.
Can't have them, yep. I guess my question more with Halifax is every year, don't get me wrong, they have very, very, very good teams and they make the playoffs, but they just can't get over the hump.
Discipline.
Did they do enough this offseason to get over that hump?
Do they have the people in place for discipline? Because they always they implode.
Yeah.
They take a bunch of stupid penalties, blow games that they should have won because they start losing their minds. It's been the MO of that team for a number of years. They've been talented enough. In fact, we talked about it coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
That they really should have been, if not winning it, being right up there. And they haven't been able to. Come on, we celebrated them getting out of the first round. If that's your celebration, I don't know.
Yeah.
Most teams call that not a great year. Can you imagine Buffalo, they're celebrating getting out of the first round?
And that's why I just scratch my head a little bit where, don't get me wrong, again, Bomberry and O'Connor are very, very good pickups, but is staying put more or less the right move for Halifax?
Is Steyer's trying to make a little bit more of a Six Nations team over in Halifax? And trying to relive some of that magic, though the heart and soul of that thing being on the Bandits.
Yeah.
Well, at least when you put Bomberry in there, he played.
I guess you would hope that he's learned from how it didn't work in Philadelphia when Paul Day kind of tried to do the Peterborough thing.
I was thinking about that last night, actually, when I was watching the game.
But I guess, I guess I'm not too worried about their offense. I think, their left, it's pretty settled with their lefties. They've got Jameson. They've got Dawson Theed, Mike Robinson, Jason Knox is probably going to get a bigger role than he did last year. And, on the right side, obviously losing Randy Stotts is going to hurt. Having Brendan Bomberry is going to kind of take some of the sting away. But you got Clark Peterson, Thomas Hogarth on that side. So
it's going to be interesting. And say Peterson signed on for a bunch more years, and he's, as he put it, doesn't want to play anywhere else.
Yeah.
And, again, a big blow is, of course, Randy Stotts. But we had said many times, does he take too many shots? Which means that nobody else is getting in on it. I'm very curious to see how this team jumps out of the gate without him there in an extended period, not for a game or two, but an extended period of time where the offense has to run without him being the end game. This is where Brendan Bomberry would step up and come in and fit in.
Yeah.
Because he can score and he can quarterback easily. And he's very familiar with 2/3 of this team already. So it should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it because I've always liked Halifax, and I always thought, if nothing else, man, I get to hear different music in the arena. East Coast music, I love it. But it's just the fact that the team itself operates differently. It's a different mentality down east. And the team seemed to have gravitated to that kind of thing and worked to their fan base. And they play that kind of exciting style that the fans love there. And it's very electric to watch and see the engagement of both player and fan in there. And I think that the players that they've put in, O'Connor's going to love it in there. He's going to thrive there. And I think that the pieces that Steyer's put in lieu of some of the other things, have worked. And he didn't do too much, didn't upset the apple cart. But if they can keep their penalties down and keep their IQ, lacrosse IQ, and not fall into traps of teams goading them into stupid penalties, it's great to have a Tyson Bell on your team because he can do so much. But you also run the risk of him going off like a Jeff Snyder. That was the only knock on Jeff Snyder's game. He was such a talented face-off guy, such a talented, scorer and defensive guy. But you could get into his mind and get under his skin and have him lose his mind and absolutely throw the entire game plan out the window. Matt Royk comes to mind. Decent goaltender, but you could get into his head quickly. And then he was not the same goalie. So can they keep their composure through all the other things that are going on in the heat of the moment? Now, granted, they don't have some of the extracurricular stuff that was going on last year with, again, Tyson Bell losing his mind after a game. That's all behind them now. So would Austin Stotts be on the mitten? No, that wouldn't work very well in there.
No.
And being that Randy and Austin don't want to play with each other anyways. But anyways, it's going to be interesting. Another team that is, easily in the upper echelon of the league. Somebody's got to play the part of the lower end. No. Just shows you how much talent's out there. We move over to the next squad that is just holy smokes. And that, of course, is Vancouver. Now, they lost Aiden Walsh and Riley Lowen. But look at the wow. Reese Callies, Curtis Dixon, Jesse King, Shane Simpson, Ethan Ticehurst. The Calgary Roughnecks 2019 lives now with a W or a V in their chest.
Welcome home to BC.
Yeah. For all the times we're saying, how can you get the BC guys to play in Vancouver? Well,
Well,
mission
dramatically now
accomplished.
has to be.
Put Bob
Yeah.
McMahon and Rob Williams there. There you go. That's how.
Kurt
Put
Malofsky is
a solid structure, a solid front office, put stability there, and a want to win. And the fans aren't stupid. You know, they're gravitating to this team. They started doing it last year. You know, you had 10,000 plus game after game after game. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 12 to 15 if they're marketing it correctly and marketing these local guys correctly. I would have it at every single Canucks game. I would have, you know, every period I would have a thing for the Warriors. And how easy it is to get tickets and how cheap they are. That's just me, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, this was a very, very good team last year. Just missing maybe one or two pieces, and they bring in like 5 pieces.
All
What
viable
can you
pieces
say?
of
Like,
that, yeah. All viable pieces. One of the highlights I saw from their game yesterday was Adam Charlemagne-Beatties being Adam Charlemagne-Beatties. Like, my God, he deked the defense completely out of their shoes and then the goalie out of his shorts and scored top corner.
well, and that's the beauty because now you have a Dixon, a King, you know, a Simpson, Adam Charles, like you said, Adam Charles can be Adam Charles because that pressure's off him now.
Well, we don't even talk about Reed Bowering. Yeah, let's go into layer 2. We can even go into layer 3 if you want. That's how deep it is in there. As soon as they all, the biggest thing for some of them is to get to know each other. Now, some have played with each other in Calgary, and you know, I made reference to the 2019 Roughnecks, but you know, some of them are newer to it, and some of them haven't had a chance. So, you know, there is that little bit of feeling out process. So, if it doesn't happen in week 1, don't worry, y'all. It's coming week 3 or 4.
Because those big pieces, they're veterans. It's not going to take long.
No, not at all. That brings us to the last one on the list, and it's not by any design that I put the Wings last. That's just alphabetical, Wings. But never mind. You'd have to be at the old games. Brian Cameron, Eric Fennell, both good additions, and both showed up last night big. Mitch Jones, Tony Malcolm, Shane Simpson, big losses. Defense looked good last night, I said. Are they the biggest thing around? No. Are they most bruising thing around? No. Did Schul re-up with Philadelphia?
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of either.
So they don't really have the muscle that they did before. But from what I saw last night, is they are a very physical squad, and they do have a pretty good transition. Again, Liam Patton and that. It's offense that it's funny. Russell Terrence and O'Neill. You'd think that it's just combobulated at times. It doesn't look like they're all on the same page, and that's Kostiuk, right? He's old hat at this.
Yeah.
You know, I give Pat McCready full marks for making this defense thing, and the first guy to after the game to look like he's busy in deep thought and trying to is McCready to keep where can we get better, what can we do here. But the other thing is I'm watching all these squads come in with these huge lists of guys. Philadelphia it was smaller than the Rocks list.
Yeah, I actually have that list of defensemen who were there. So, obviously, Mitch Desnew on holdout.
Right.
Evan Messenger still on pup list, but Domini is not. Was not. So, but they had Alex Pace, Ben Cromer, Bo Columbus, Chris Corbeil, Isaiah Davis-Allen, Caden Brennan, Kevin Lynch, Liam Patton, Mike McCannell, Mitch Armstrong, Nick Rowlett, Pat Foley, Ryan Wagner, and Scott Domini.
Now, Bo Columbus is going to be a good face-off guy too, and hopefully he stays on and they give him that job and let him grow into the role because he's good at it. He's got good hands at it and he's strong. And they need one. More than anything, that fills a really big void. Their transition game, again, if Dominique makes it back, that'd be great. That'll be a huge boost. Again, also veteran leadership, right?
Yep.
But the problem, it's funny that the problem isn't defense in Philadelphia. Who said that? God, the last 3 years, that's all I've said. But offense. But again, if O'Neill is interested and Russateritz is still doing his stuff that he's doing in the summer with Peterborough, and you add a couple of pieces in there, I think that they can put this together. And again, with transition working, they can manufacture, but it's going to take it's going to be taxing on Kostiuk himself because he's going to have to be one, patient. Two, he's going to have to be able to really change the chalkboard up and get creative game by game. Because I don't think it's going to be like bits and bytes. I don't think it's going to be the same lineup 2 games in a row until they can actually get all the pieces that they need. And I think they're still 2 or 3 away. They're one big free agent signing. If anybody would, it would be in their better interest to keep their eyes open on what hits the floor in cutting, would be Philadelphia. If they take some of the other teams' scraps and are able to use it themselves, I think that they are onto something here. Though they weren't big in the free agent market or in the the draft or that, they can salvage this by fitting the right pieces that have been released elsewhere.
Yeah,
and I know Paul Day is very savvy when it comes to that and knowing who's out there and who's around. So this is where Paul Day makes his money. If he can do this and put a team that all of a sudden becomes viable out of the blue by using everybody else's cast-offs. It's been done. It's been done. I think that we could see something very extraordinary in Philadelphia because the pieces, the essential pieces are there. And with Daymud and Nod, both healthy and viable. Remember, they faced each other in the finals in the President's Cup. If you're worried about goaltending, I'd say that's not the issue. Either way. And if you have any sort of defense in front, which they do, looking good. Nod came in for his time and a couple of assists. So, use his athleticism.
And maybe you could argue after, we were talking about Hartley and Hutchcraft in Rochester being the best kind of 1-2.
Yeah.
Maybe the next best 1-2 anywhere in the league is going to be Nick Daymud and Deacon Knott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Deke's only getting better and better. Now, Deke's also moving out to the Philadelphia area in January. So he's going to be living in Market. So he can hit all the practices and all the other things and do all the other things that need to be done along the way. So I think it's going to be this is the step for him. And I had such a great time. I was beside his dad, and he and I go back a ways, and it was great talking with him for a while, catching up from since the summer. And talking with Deke after the game, and he's so low key that it's just he's got everything. He's going to be on the show in January on the other show on NLL Lacrosse Talk. So you'll see that he's such a you can't help but root for him. He's such a great kid, and he has worked so hard, and he has been an success. And I've said it many times: winners win. They know what it takes and know how to do it. And he is a winner. The family are winners. So I look at that and think in the long run, if they can hold on to what they're doing, they're in the right position to not go and, oh my God, we got to change everything. And then we watched that with the Riptide. Every year it was an entire shift. And every year on paper looked good, it didn't work, and it was an entire shift again. And it didn't work, and it was an entire shift. And where did that get them? Ottawa. And what's happened since they got to Ottawa? Oh, stability. And what's happened to the team? They've been pretty good. Now, Rad Joseph brought this up also because he's in the Ottawa area, and he was on the show on Thursday, is unfortunately Ottawa is not a sports town because, again, the arena is not in Ottawa. You have to actually travel to it. So you have no walk-up crowd to it. So in order for them to have a base crowd, if they start 4-1, they'll have a crowd. If they start 1-4, not so much. Because same thing happens to the Senators, same thing happens to the Red Blacks. If they're not winning, there's no people there. So that's the only danger of being in Canada, Ontario, if you're going to go into your atlas or try and find it on a globe. Spin the big wheel. And you'll find that it's not quite close to Ottawa. But it is what it is. That's the league as we know it for the time being. Of course, by tomorrow afternoon, we could look at each other and go, or as Mike's favorite little meme is. I knew I had to find a place. But as it stands, that's the way it is. I'm very curious. It's one thing at 3:00 tomorrow or nearabouts. The next thing is Tuesday when they pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
Or Monday at 9:00 at night when they start picking up the pieces of who's where. And where I'm going to see my next arena lacrosse game because, that's going to be a heck of a league too with all the players that will be, taking up spots of people who need to learn. Which again alludes me to the point that there needs to be expansion, but into, again, markets that, this is for another show, markets that are viable, that already know the game for now. Until Unboxed takes off enough. Unboxed is designed for 5-10 years from now, where you put it into places and put teams into places so they can learn, so that when you eventually expand there, they're not new. But we're at the point now where we need another team or two, and we need them to be in places where people will go see them. So... And, of course, we need TV numbers for, like Dawick said. In order for TV stations like ESPN and TSN to put you on your regular broadcasting, not plus, they have to have numbers that would actually make them go, hey, we need to have that. 40,000, 100,000, that's numbers to make us pat our backs because we've never seen those kind of numbers and go, hey, we're... TV executives go, all right, so I Love Lucy is on channel 3 and that's it. We have to get over us being amazed at what we're doing and start getting into real world what they're doing. And that's where we need to scope. And I think the goal is 2028, of course, Olympics, and having in whatever form, it doesn't matter. Stick, ball, net, run, hit, and have people view it in 280 countries. Then market. There was an interesting point brought up on the show by Frank on Thursday. Do you think that the NLL or the PLL even have, lacrosse in general, have a plan post-Olympic? Not just, well, that was a great event, and then move on and go back to doing what we're doing. Then
I brought it up. Sorry, I brought it up before, but I really hope what doesn't get lost in the Olympics is we just hear field lacrosse, field lacrosse, field lacrosse.
Yeah.
That does nothing for the NLL. That does nothing for box lacrosse.
No, it doesn't. But I'm looking a little bit further than that. And after the games are done,
Yeah.
do they have a plan on how to market and how to capitalize on the publicity that they just got for free? Not just, oh, that was a great event, because that doesn't do anything. They need to have a blueprint for how to absolutely grab everybody. Because don't forget, the Olympics are in July, August, right? Well, that ramps right into Man Cup, and it ramps right into, coming into training camps, and that PLL season's done. It's time to move box. They need to have a contingency on what the heck to do from that point on and capitalize. It's great if you're shooting up here, but if there's no fuel, we're right back in our way again. That's what concerns me, is do they have that plan?
Like I said, I hope they have that plan, because what concerns me more is I don't even know if they have that plan going into the Olympics, where, like you said before, they just talk field. I think there has to be a plan for NL to somehow get their foot in there and say, hey, there's also a box game you can check out too. This is very similar to box in the sixes.
Right.
Because if you don't have that plan, then forget about it. After the Olympics, you shot yourself in the foot even before you got started.
Well, I keep hearing this thing as the wave of the future is sixes, so I don't know. Hold on to your horses. So we'll see how that all plays out, because we can't. It's not going to do anybody any good if there's infighting of which one we're going to. We already have enough of that.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's leave it there for this week. We will have games to talk about for real next weekend, as the season opens on Friday in Oshawa, with Toronto facing the Oshawa Firewolves. So stay tuned. All through the week, we will have fallout from the cuts, final lineups, of course, and everything goes with it, and pick'ems at the end of the week before the games hit next weekend. Stick with us. Remember, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Thread. You can find us on YouTube, as well as on www.streampunkentertainment.com. Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day, because in this space right now, the news is always changing, and we are your Costco of lacrosse. We are your one-stop shop. We have our fingers on the pulse of the situation and are proud and privileged to give you all of the news on time, accurate. That brings us to last words. Shawn, let's go to you for last words first.
I think it kind of wrapped up pretty good there. I think it's going to be an exciting week, even just leading up to the regular season, just seeing who gets cut, because I have a feeling we're going to be looking at a few lists going, wow, can't believe he got cut. And where those guys end up. Because I think we're going to see a lot of movement, and then bring on the regular season.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
Yeah, same thing. Lots of rosters are going to be set. There's going to be some surprises. There's going to be guys that are going to find themselves out on the street that maybe some folks think shouldn't be, and vice versa. So it's going to be interesting to see.
Absolutely. I am really curious to see some of the releases tomorrow. And I am definitely curious to see where some of these releases wind up. And I have a feeling we're in for a very interesting week leading up to all the hoopla of opening weekend for the NLL. Let's not forget, amongst all this, is in Buffalo, the third banner raising in a row for the Bandits out in KeyBank Center. So lots of things upcoming. But in the meantime, until we meet again next week, Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, remember, keep your sticks high, keep your spirits higher. And until we see each other, have a great week. Take care, everybody.